Hey everybody, listen up. I got mega huge news. Meat Eater Live is heading back out on the road. That's right. Join me and the crew. Clay Newcomb, Cal, Yanni, Spencer's going to be there. Phil the Engineer's going to be there. Meat Eater Live, headed back out. Now, when you get every ticket, okay, every ticket you buy, you get a signed copy of our new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook. This tour is celebrating the release of the book. Buy a ticket, get a signed copy, Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, camp stove, and campfire, which I'll point out is a $38 value. Here's where we're going to go. April 23rd, the Mesa Art Center in Mesa, Arizona. April 24, the Balboa Theater in San Diego. April 25, the Grove in Anaheim, California. April 27, the Crest Theater in Sacramento. April 29, the Union in Salt Lake City. April 30, the Egyptian in Boise. May 1, the Wilma Theater in Missoula. May 2, the Bing Crosby Theater in Spokane, Washington. May 4, Revolution Hall in Portland, Oregon. And May 5, the last day of the tour, Pantages Theater in Tacoma, Washington. For tickets and more information, visit the events page at themeateater.com. Hope to see you at the show.
Welcome to Wired to Hunt's Rut Fresh Radio, bringing you the latest reports from the Whitetail Woods. Presented by First Light, creating proven, versatile hunting apparel for the stand, saddle, or blind. First Light. Go farther, stay longer. And now, your hosts, KC Smith and Tyler Jones.
Welcome to Rut Fresh Radio. I'm your host, KC Smith, and guess what? The rut is raging around the country. There are deer doing all kinds of deery things. However, the weather is not cooperating. Will it affect the rut? Let's see. This is Rut Fresh. Let's go. What is happening to all you woods people? This is Rut Fresh Radio.
Bienvenidos.
Brought to you by First Light Gear. And I've been wearing the tar of First Light Gear because it's been cold. And it's been hot. It's been everything in between. I've got about 17 pieces in my backpack right now. And that's good. Makes my backpack nice and full. And you need that when you're hunting on the ground, you know?
Yeah, it's like your seat pad pretty much.
It's 76 degrees in here, and you have on your First Light Puffy right now.
Is it really 76?
I feel like it is. I don't know. It's kind of warm. Whenever you're talking to me on the phone today,
Meisel's in his merino.
Well, Meisel, that's all he wore. That's all he brought up here.
What piece is that? Furnace.
So
He's
got
wearing
a
the
furnace on. Furnace hoodie.
That thing looks hot.
Yeah. Dude, listen, he was wearing it today. When I was talking to you on the phone, I stripped down to nothing but my merino briefs because it was so hot.
Y'all both wearing merinos.
That's right.
Look at y'all.
That's right,
out there in the
merino
plains
boys
together wearing merinos.
Merino banditos up in here. That's us. So we've got some Rut Fresh interviews today. I don't know if y'all know this, but it's the month of November, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So these are the big times, the good stuff to listen to. We got some crazy stuff to talk about here in a bit. But I believe that there's a good number of you sitting there, sad, quiet, alone, just crying in your pillow.
Yep.
Because it's after November 10th, and the rut's over for the rest of your life. Is that right, Tyler? Is that right, Tyler?
No.
Oh, my gosh. It's not.
No.
Okay.
No. Listen, y'all.
Tell
the
me.
rut is raging right now. It's raging. You know what else? I'm going to give you a little bit of optimism here.
I need it. Bad. I'm serious.
Once I was talking to Greg about this morning. Once the bucks have made their rounds to all the family doe groups, and a lot of the does become bred, the bucks get more active, even, or at least they're more visible, right? So, in other words, this buck is still full of testosterone. He's still mad at the world. He still thinks he's got breeding rights to everything that walks right now. And he also knows that there are a bunch of does that are not in heat anymore or whatever. They've already been bred. And so he has to make these rounds longer and longer and longer to find the last does that aren't bred. And then eventually, in my opinion, there's what a lot of people call the second rut, which happens when a lot of times when, depending on buck-doe ratios, if there wasn't something that was bred, a month later, then it'll come back in. Or for the 6-month-old deer that are kind of just becoming mature enough to do the thing, right? So there's a lot of hope involved right now. In fact, I think a lot of guys would agree, but for me, in the Midwest, the Thanksgiving area has always been a really good time for me, in my opinion. I actually, One-Eyed Jack, I shot that deer in 2015, and he was following a big mature doe on December 2nd. So there's great things that that was a Kansas deer, y'all. I mean, these are deer that behave like the quote unquote Midwest deer that everybody thinks November 7th is the last day they do anything, right?
Yep.
So have hope. Have hope.
That's right.
It can happen.
I've talked to many killers, actually, not just Tyler, who say that they like the teens in November the best for killing like big mature deer. I don't personally have the experience of that to confirm or deny, but I can see where they out there.
Yeah.
And you go find them, and it works.
Yeah.
One of the things, honestly, that at least in our neck of the woods, that you could have going for you is that the cover gets more sparse and the deer are in the open because you have frost. So a lot of the country gets the first frost between October 28th and November 7th, and that's going to cause leaves to fall. It's going to cause the grass to turn brown and die and fall over, and like things can look a lot different from Halloween to November 10th, and you can find visible deer. So get out there, get your glass out if you hadn't, There's a lot of guys that kill big dogs that way. Chancey Walters, friend of the program, Chancey Walters. Yeah. He kills big deer that way, just putting eyes on them. And
which program? The Element?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, check out the Element podcast if you hadn't. That's our main show. We talk all about hunting tactics, stories from our hunts, and we laugh a whole lot. So if you like to be a part of fun things, check that out. But today, we're going to have some fun as well because, man, I was responsible this week. Tyler has held it down. No, I don't mean I'm responsible. I mean just this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, no, I like it, man.
Tyler's held it down all year while I've been on these hunts, and now we're kind of swapping roles a little bit. He has some really cool hunts that he's been going on. So I was the guy who gathered guests this week, and it just so happens I got a lot of dudes on here that sound kind of like me.
Who are they?
Well, I have a relative, Isaac Smith. He doesn't sound like me, but we're relatives. So,
sure.
Yeah, he's up there hunting in Michigan. Had some success up there. We have Patrick Paysinger.
Isaac's been successful in Michigan, huh?
Yeah.
All right, good deal.
Apparently, it's going down in Michigan. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's it. That's
killing them in Texas, killing them in Michigan. Don't matter where you're at.
Man. We had some big numbers this week, guys, by the way. So just wait. Some big numbers when it comes to predictions. Patrick Paysinger from Dead End Game Calls. He is in Kansas right now hunting a giant. Yeah. Brennan Rhoades, my high school best friend, one of my best friends in my life, has been in Old Mexico hunting deer down there. Got an interesting report from some giants that went down in Mexico. And then we've got the real Pitts, Michael Pitts from Realtree Road Trips.
The real one?
Yeah, he's the real one, the real deal.
Who's
Pitts.
the fake one?
Brian Bostic. And Pitts has been hunting in Georgia. And it's going down in Georgia right now, apparently, too. And Pitts is going to give us a lowdown on all that low country stuff. Apparently, it's going down in Georgia right now as well, man. I mean, it's mid-November, right? The reports are going to be good, guys. Don't expect anything terrible, right? But there are some intricate details that just might help you kill the big bucks. So let's get to these interviews. I have got my buddy Isaac Smith. He has been hunting up in Michigan, chasing the bucks around with some success. Isaac, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Just trying to get some work done while I'm in the middle of a hunt and dealing with, hot temps and all that. Well, how's it looking up there?
It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of active bucks in Michigan, that's for sure.
That's cool, man.
So,
I heard all the bucks
mornings.
got killed in Michigan. That's what people say. Like a 1.5 is a mature buck there, right?
It seems to be the trend until this time of year, and then they just start showing up. So
yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. I actually just moved to Michigan about 2 months ago, so it's my first full season here. So it's all new to me, but I was able to get a nice buck down, and then I've seen multiple other really nice 9-10 point type bucks with good frames. And
yeah, what are those deer doing?
I kind of don't know what all the attitude about Michigan's about, honestly, because I'm seeing great bucks here.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's been some big ones killed there for sure. I think it's just a lot of hunters, which translates to a lot of pressure, but there's a lot of deer, so everybody gets to have fun, right?
Yep, that's for sure.
What are those deer doing that you're seeing?
Come again?
Like the deer that you had success with, and the other bucks that you've seen around. What are they doing? Are they doing a bed to feed thing still? Are they scraping? Or are they chasing does?
Yeah, they're scraping. They seem to be cruising. I have not seen a single buck chasing all fall. So that seems a little weird to me. I feel like in previous years, primarily being in my home base of Wisconsin, there'd be a lot of chasing by now. But and I was in Wisconsin last week too, and I did not see any chasing there either. But it was weird. But yeah, a lot of bucks moving in the morning, and it's kind of been like really warm midday around south central Wisconsin and Michigan. So I don't know. Mostly morning activity.
You think that's directly related to temperature?
I don't know. I heard that the acorn crop has been just like off the charts, and it's keeping deer more local. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's something you've been hearing as well, but
around the country it seems to be the case. I mean, it is in East Texas. I just talked to Michael Pitts in Georgia. He said the same thing. So it seems as if that's what's going on.
That's pretty interesting. I would have thought that just it being the rut would kind of overrule all other factors, whether it's warm or cold or acorns or not or whatever. But it's definitely, in my experience, the last couple of weeks seem to be the least rutty rut like that I've experienced.
That's weird, man. Well, do you think that the just consistency that's on the weather charts right now is going to help or hurt that?
I don't know. I've just I've been wrong this whole season so far, so I'm not sure what to expect,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's on these colder mornings, like this morning, my son and I were out. We had a couple good bucks come through, and then it just kind of shut off. By 10 o'clock or so. And that's just when the temperature kind of spikes and we just kind of get bored. So
are y'all hunting like deep in cover, or are you doing the field edge thing?
It's a mix of both. I got this property in Michigan that borders a golf course, so I can see them out on the golf course.
Yeah.
But then we're back in the cover. So they kind of, head back in these cut trails and stuff.
Yeah. So it's
cruise, but you can see them coming before they hit the timber. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, it's been fun, but no, not really doing the field edge thing. Not so much.
Yeah. So if you were to look ahead for the next week and to rate the next week on a scale of 1 to 10 for buck movement, what would you call it?
I'd say in Michigan, that'd be like a 8.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I've had like a good shooters come through every sit for the last week. And it kind of seems to be just the frequency's kind of going up. And I've got one buck tag left. Here in Michigan, so I'm kind of saving it for a special one, but the opportunities for sure there, like they seem to be cruising hard.
Yeah.
But again, just like that, I don't know. I don't see him dogging does like. So.
Well, who knows, man?
I don't know what to think about that.
It could turn on any point in time, like it is November and you gave it an 8, so they're listening and they're going to cooperate, I think. So I think that this is your week, man. You're going to feel that last buck tag on a giant.
I hope so. Firearms opens tomorrow, so that's a wild card.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
gonna just keep it up and try to make it happen.
That's right. Ride the roller coaster, man. Appreciate the report.
You bet.
On the phone, I have got my buddy Patrick Paysinger from Dead End Game Calls. I used to call him Big Pat, but he's kind of medium Pat these days. You've been slimming up, Patrick.
Yes, I have. I got to keep up with those kiddos.
I guarantee you, man, and keep up chasing them deer. You're up in Kansas right now. Actually, we are sharing a state at the moment. We're both in Kansas and trying to find some big whitetail bucks. You put any eyes on any?
Yes, sir. I am seeing a lot. Riding around. I've been just doing some road scouting in the mornings and seeing them on their feet.
Yeah, I guarantee you, man. It's like, I don't know, different parts of the country, the rut looks different. And in Kansas, this later, I don't know if you call it later, but, at least kind of middle of the rut seems to really get them deer out running around. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, that's exactly what I see. It seems like the week leading into Thanksgiving is always the best in Kansas, at least the part southeastern Kansas where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger boys get up the closer you get to Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, and that's exciting too because sometimes people look at like once the first 10 days of November is over, it's like over. It's like, no, man, there's a lot of good stuff going on right now.
That's right.
Yeah. So what are the deer really doing? Are they targeting doe bedding areas? Are they heading to food, or like what are you seeing bucks doing right now?
What I'm seeing is a mixture of. I'm seeing some single mature bucks out with does out in the middle of the pastures and the sage, and then I'm just seeing lone cruisers cruise these ditches and fence rows looking for those.
Mm-hmm. Are you seeing
So
big mature bucks doing that?
Oh yeah,
Man.
Yep. It seems like the transition right now from young immature bucks to mature bucks getting on their feet this week.
Yeah. So is that weather related? Is it dates, or what makes that happen?
I think it's dates. I think it would be even better if it was a little bit cooler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're looking at a pretty. I wouldn't call it bleak outlook, but it's just a very monotonous weather pattern that we're in. For the foreseeable future, we're looking at similar dates, which I guess could be good, right? I mean, if you got a pattern, they're going to hold to it.
Yeah, it is very stagnant weather. It's actually working really good because I'm targeting a specific big mature buck, and he is not on a doe. He's going from bedding to feed, and so it's better for me trying to hunt one single buck of not having him chasing and on a doe right now.
Mm-hmm. How are you getting the intel about this buck?
Trail cameras.
Yeah, so you're running cell cameras and getting pictures, or you having to go check cards, or what do you do with that?
No, I'm running a Browning cell phone camera.
Yeah.
And it's just outside the bedding. They're coming from bedding, hitting some grain, and then he's actually hitting a pond going out to the big bean field. And where he's hitting this, it's been right after shooting, and this morning he actually hit it going back into bedding right at shooting time. So I know he's bedding close, and I'm fixing to hit the woods and go after him.
Oh, today. You're going to go kill this deer today, huh?
I hope the wind is right, and I know he's bedded close. So I'm going in this afternoon after him.
On one of those sets like that, are you trying to do pre-hung sets, or do you already have, or you got your gear, you're going to go in and just kind of do run and gun type deal, or what are you doing?
Typically here I do run and gun and use the cruiser saddle. But here with limited trees, we do have a pre-hung set right there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's being able to run and gun's good, but having that pre-hung set is a real quiet, easy way to get in the tree and be pretty comfortable too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, what do you think the deer are going to be doing? I mean, I know you're going to tag out tonight, so you don't really have to know too much, right? But if you were going to say, for people out there who are thinking about maybe, hitting the road and heading over, they're kind of looking at that weather outlook and kind of, I don't know. What do you think the deer are going to be doing over the next week?
I think starting Friday or Saturday here in the southeast, it's going to go up. It's going to go up because I'm seeing it get down into the 50s as a high, north wind. So I think about Friday or Saturday, we're going to see it kick even up.
Ooh, man, that gets me excited, too. I have a tag just burning a hole in my pocket. It's kind of like you, I'm itching. So that's exciting stuff, dude. I can't wait to get out there and get after them with you. If you had to give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10 for the next week for buck movement, what would you call it?
I'd say it's going to go from a 6 to an 8.
Woo, 8s are good, dude. I like big 8s especially,
That's right.
I'll take
That's
you with him. Yeah, awesome, Patrick. That's great info, dude. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your friendship, man. I hope you kill a giant tonight.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, brother, and I hope you do too.
Hey everybody, listen up. I got mega huge news. Meat Eater Live is heading back out on the road. That's right. Join me and the crew. Clay Newcomb, Cal, Yanni, Spencer's going to be there. Phil the engineer is going to be there. Meat Eater Live headed back out. Now, when you get every ticket, okay, every ticket you buy, you get a signed copy of our new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook. This tour is celebrating the release of the book. Buy a ticket, get a signed copy, Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, camp stove, and campfire, which I'll point out is a $38 value. Here's where we're going to go. April 23rd, the Mesa Arts Center in Mesa, Arizona. April 24, the Balboa Theater in San Diego. April 25, the Grove in Anaheim, California. April 27, the Crest Theater in Sacramento. April 29, the Union in Salt Lake City. April 30, the Egyptian in Boise. May 1, the Wilma Theater in Missoula. May 2, the Bing Crosby Theater in Spokane, Washington. May 4, Revolution Hall in Portland, Oregon. And May 5, the last day of the tour, Pantages Theater in Tacoma, Washington. For tickets and more information, visit the events page at themeateater.com. Hope to see you at the show.
On the phone, I've got East Texas' finest, Brennan Rhoades. However, he has been down hunting Old Mexico. This is one of my best friends of all time. Brennan, what's going on, dude?
Oh, not much, man. Not much.
I hear you've been out caping deer.
Yes, sir. Had a friend of mine. He killed a pretty good buck. He's going to get mounted, and he asked me to help him cape it out. So I went and fellowshipped and skinned a deer.
Golly, man, you're just a good buddy to have around. And you got some good buddies that decided to let you go down to Old Mexico with them. This is Mexico for our northern friends. And you've been doing a little whitetail hunting down there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Tell me about that. What's it like down there?
It is amazing. Very game-rich environment. Probably one of the top hunts that I've ever been on.
Man, that's cool. And you've been doing a lot of hunting. I was with you when you killed your first elk, and I mean, it kind of hurts my heart a little bit for you to tell me that that's one of the top hunts you've ever been on. But I would assume
one of the top hunts.
Yeah, I'd assume that's in one of the top tiers there. We're sharing it, yeah, for sure. So you've seen a lot of deer down there, then, huh?
Yeah, a fair amount. I mean, talking to those guys, it was slow movement, but to my standard, it was pretty good.
Yeah. What's going on down there? Those deer eating agriculture, or are they just living out in the wild, or what do they do?
So where we're hunting, there is absolutely no agriculture. It is just short brush, canyons. The terrain. It's got some pretty good terrain to it. Some canyon type stuff. I mean, it's wild country.
Mm-hmm. What state is that in Mexico or province? Where do they call them? Coahuila. All right. That's like that hot sauce on the counter at the cafe, isn't it?
That's it.
That's cool. And so y'all are targeting these deer at water, you feeding, or what's going on down there?
We are. There are troughs. It is a operating cattle ranch.
Yeah.
You can key off. There is no natural pond water or tank water. It's all solar pumped and fed down to water troughs. I mean, there are opportunities to hunt on the water. And also, this time of year, there's corn is effective. But, as far as deer movement being slow, it's they got a lot of rainfall this year. And for November, it was extremely green.
Gotcha. And so whenever you're down there in November right now, is it pre-rut, like bachelor groups? Are they separated, making scrapes and doing the thing, or what's going on?
So we did find scrapes. We did find some fresh scrapes, and that we were running gun cameras, this, that, and the other, trying to locate different deer that they seen in velvet. And but as far as right now, pre-rut, I mean, it is. I would say that it's probably on the cuff of becoming pre-rut. Like it's. You might see a young deer try to bump a doe around, but it's really not starting to kick there yet.
Gotcha. So you actually shot you a nice deer down there, man. Congratulations on that. It's pretty cool, and it seemed like y'all had a real good hunt. Is this kind of like this cusp of the rut? Is that like the good time to be there?
Yeah, I mean, any time to be there is a good time. But I would say I've never been there in December.
Yeah,
I do. One of these days, hopefully, Lord willing, I'll be able to make a December trip because about mid-December they really are rutting hard.
Well, what do you think they're going to do in here in about the next week or so? You think it's going to be kind of more of the same, or what's it going to look like?
I'm going to say probably in the next couple weeks, you're probably going to start, if I had to guess, and I'm still a greenhorn for Mexico hunting. I've been in January, I've been in November, but I really feel like by the way I've seen some of the younger deer act, I feel like that you're going to start seeing more activity, moving towards, checking does and what I call cruising. One thing we did notice, we did see some older deer start gaining some ground as far as territory. It's a very vast, the ranch that we were hunting is very big. And, summertime, they're kind of locked down to their home turf. We were seeing bucks, upwards to 2 miles from where they were, getting pictures of them.
Gosh,
summertime
on their feet. That's cool, man. So if you look forward for like the next week, what do you expect the buck movement, to be like on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say probably in the next week, I'd probably rate it at 6.
All right.
And then as time goes on, of course, I feel like that's really going to start taking off.
Yeah, the roller coaster's starting to tick, right? It's getting on up there. Well, that's cool, man. Appreciate the report. It's from a neat area of the country. I'm glad you got to go down there, man. And Brennan,
it was a blessing.
Really appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Now, I've got Michael Pitts, the real Pitts, or Pitts as most people just call him. And this dude's a killer. From all over the country, you can see him on Realtree road trips, and right now he is in Georgia. Michael, what's going on, man?
Man, it's just another day in paradise is the way I call it, see it and everything else. So
that's good, man.
I'm just glad to be here.
What's the temperatures running right now in your area of Georgia?
Temperatures right now, we've been kind of on a roller coaster here lately a little bit. It got real cold, and then it warmed up a little bit to the mid-70s or so. It's fallen back down the past few days, so we're getting a lot better movement. Right now, the colder weather always helps the visibility as far as daytime and mature bucks go. So we're dealing with about 65-degree temps right now on the high, and the lows are around 40 to 45 right now.
Y'all still have leaves on the trees, or is all that cover gone?
Yeah, no, we got leaves on the trees still now. It's going pretty quick right now, but we've still got, a little bit concealment left in the trees. It's not totally naked up there yet, but it's on its way to being. We're probably at about 50% right now, I would say.
Gotcha. And so you've been hunting in Georgia quite a bit. What are the deer really doing right now? Are they pre-rut, or are they starting to get after it?
Now, they're starting to get after it right now. I would say the past couple of weeks have been a good pre-rut phase to where you see a lot of the younger deer chasing, but your mature deer are not on their feet yet. The past few days, we've been seeing a lot of mature deer on their feet, which is a good thing and lets you know that the rut is actually kind of starting to happen.
Yeah, buddy.
It's just not the young ones acting crazy. The temperature has affected it a little bit. I mean, we were well on our way to probably having an early rut, and then we had a temperature spike, which the temperature spikes, I don't think that necessarily stops the rut. I think it stops us from visually seeing it because they go more nocturnal and they're breeding at night and that sort of thing. But the colder weather lets us allow visibility of it a little bit more because the deer just on their feet and feeding more, that sort of thing. So the past couple of days have been very good. We had an encounter with a mature deer yesterday evening that was doing a lot of chasing. He came in typical right 5 minutes after shooting light, so we couldn't put an arrow in him, but he was standing 30 yards from me, you know, and that'll make you almost vomit too. Right, I
guarantee you, it's kind of spooky, man.
That happens.
It ain't fun.
That's about as bad as a miss sometimes.
I guarantee you, for sure. So, are you hunting pinch points right now? Or are you still hunting food sources, or what's it look like?
We've had a bumper acorn crop this year. There's been more acorns on the ground than I've ever seen, which that's a double-edged sword if you ask me. It's good that they've got the food crop on the ground, but it's bad for patterning them because they will sit there and just meander around in an oak bottom with no pattern about them. So, you know, it kind of makes it tough. We had been in a drought until this last week, so you know, it wasn't mildewing the acorns or getting rid of them in any fast fashion. And there's so many on the ground. It's just crazy. So it's kind of been tough hunting the past few weeks just due to the fact of the acorns that are all over the ground. I mean, they've got an unlimited food source there and they just love it. So they're not coming to your bait piles or your green fields or whatever near as much. And then you throw the rut activity in there and there is surely no pattern in them. So basically it's just getting in a tree and spending some seat time and hoping it happens. As a bow hunter, I do not like the full rut just because of the simple fact that, you know, you're limited with distance and these deer are just everywhere. You almost got to hope a doe runs up under you or whatever, you know, to make it happen. As a rifle hunter, it's a little bit easier because you can reach out there and touch them. But I really hate the full rut, to be honest with you, just because of the fact there's a lot of unpredictable stuff that goes on. So
are you looking at
harder
this next week as being that then? What do you expect going on this next week?
I think this next week's going to be the full rut. 100%, because I'm starting the past few days, I've started to really see the mature bucks get on their feet as far as visually myself and on camera. The bigger deer, more mature deer are making themselves more visible right now. So typically I look at the full rut starting, you know, when I start seeing these mature deer get on their feet and get out and start showing interest in does, which I have been seeing the past few days.
That's good, man. So if you had to predict over the next week what you kind of expect the buck movement to be like on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you call it?
I'm going to call it a solid 9.
Ooh, that's high, brother. Let's go.
I'm telling you, the big deer on their feet right now, and as long as we don't get into that mid-70s temperature, I think it will be good. And I don't see the mid-70s temperatures coming back in. I think it's going to lay in the 60s. A little bit. And I think deer movement, as far as the rut goes, this next week is going to be what you would consider the full rut.
Man, that's exciting times, dude. I appreciate that.
It is.
It's a good time to be in the woods, man, and I hope you get you a big one here this next week or so.
You and me both. I hope everybody gets a big one. It's the greatest thing in the world, and it's the greatest time. Even though it's hard on a bow hunter during the full rut, it's one of my favorite times to be in the woods because it's so exciting. You get to see a lot of action, chasing bigger, mature deer, and that sort of thing. So it's a great time. You just got to put in a lot of seat time, bear with it, and swing for the fences.
That's it, man. You can't miss it. Well, Michael, really appreciate the time, dude. Get after him.
We're going to do it.
Let me tell you something. Listening to some Southern voices talking about some giant bucks gets me pumped, and that's what I need right now because I've been down in the dumps. But guess what?
Humpty Dumpty.
It is misplaced. My feelings are misplaced because it is my fault. It is not the November's fault. It's not the deer's fault. They are out there to be had, so I got to go. I got to get them. And if you like to watch people go get them, young Michael Stoll just had a video go out where he is chasing some bucks and making some moves on buck bedding, which I think is because he's from Ohio. We don't really do that in Texas, but Ohio, man, he's all about him some buck bedding.
Hey, if you can translate it to what you do, man,
that's
wherever
right, man.
you go, then just do it,
That's right. Go check out that. It's on the Element YouTube page.
Yeah, we were talking about how mid-November is still a great time to hunt, right? So quit hanging your head and get out there and hunt. Tony Peterson agrees. He wrote an article on Wired to Hunt that says, is mid-November the best time to shoot a mature buck? ? He goes on to explain why it might be in one of the recent articles there on Wired to Hunt. Also, YouTube channel, the Meat Eater YouTube channel, the season 12, the whole thing is coming out on YouTube right now. So make sure you're subscribed.
And even bigger than that, on the Meat Eater YouTube channel, you get to watch me shoot a big Nebraska buck from a hay bale blind. Go check that out.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
For sure.
People would way rather watch you than Steve. For
exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, we're kind of brothers, but I get it.
Same shape.
That's right. Yep, for sure. Well, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. This has been Rut Fresh. Keep it fresh.
Hey everybody, listen up. I got mega huge news. Meat Eater Live is heading back out on the road. That's right. Join me and the crew. Clay Newcomb, Cal, Yanni, Spencer's going to be there. Phil the engineer's going to be there. Meat Eater Live headed back out. Now, when you get every ticket, okay? Every ticket you buy, you get a signed copy of our new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook. This tour is celebrating the release of the book. Buy a ticket, get a signed copy, Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, camp stove, and campfire, which I'll point out is a $38 value. Here's where we're going to go. April 23rd, the Mesa Arts Center in Mesa, Arizona. April 24, the Balboa Theater in San Diego. April 25, the Grove in Anaheim, California. April 27, the Crest Theater in Sacramento. April 29, the Union in Salt Lake City. April 30, the Egyptian in Boise. May 1, the Wilma Theater in Missoula. May 2, the Bing Crosby Theater in Spokane, Washington. May 4, Revolution Hall in Portland, Oregon. And May 5, the last day of the tour, Pantages Theater in Tacoma, Washington. For tickets and more information, visit the events page at themeateater.com. Hope to see you at the show.